In case you are visiting the channel for the first time, I am Harish. I am a chartered accountant. I cleared my CA in 17th attempt. Yes, you heard me right. 17th attempt. That is foundation first attempt, inter 8th attempt and final 8th attempt. It took 9 years and 8 months for me to clear CA. In this long period, I learned a lot of lessons that changed my life. In this video, I'll be sharing 3. I hope they help you in your professional journey as well. So this was 2016. A friend of mine with whom I did my articleship got engaged, and the engagement was in a suburban place in Chennai. The place was some 35 to 40 kilometers away from where I was living. He had invited me, so I had gone to the event. The event took place in February and I had my CA final exams in the next 3 months. At the function, there was an audit manager of my old firm who was also present. I don't used to like him that much, but at the dinner we happened to sit next to each other and we ended up making some small talk. Absolutely formality questions, like I asked, "How are you, sir? How is the firm? Are the audits going fine?" etc. etc. And then he suddenly asked me a question. "What are you doing here?" I didn't get his question at first and I gave him a blank look. But then I told him that this guy had invited me, so I have come to attend the function. For that, the manager replied, "Of course, he would give you an invitation. He invited almost everybody in the office. So he might have invited you out of courtesy. He did his part. Now you have traveled all the way and took the trouble to come here. It will take another 2 more hours for you to reach back to your place. And probably you are not going to study anything for the rest of the evening." Now, the guy who got engaged, he cleared his CA 5 years ago. He got placed in a big four and is getting married now. So the audit manager asked, "What about you? Why did you really need to attend this function? Shouldn't you be sitting in your home and studying right now?" Like this, he kept on asking a barrage of questions, and then he was done with the meal and he got up and left. See, I never had respect for or liking for him as a senior. But then he just gave me the right message at the right time. Even though what he said was very bitter and harsh, I won't say he was wrong. I did not have any business in that function hall with exams just 3 months away. I need not have wasted a half of my study day on this. All the way back home, I felt terrible. I indeed lost some 7 precious hours. I could have revised the entire capital gains chapter in that time. The point is, sometimes we attach more meaning to people than required. At least I did. There was a time where I used to prioritize people even above my studies and work because deep inside I had this insecurity that if I don't attend to them, if I don't do the favor they asked, then maybe they won't talk to me as often. In our early 20s, we tend to think that people are going to be permanent and we end up spending a lot of time on them. We won't even consider the possibility that they have their own lives and eventually they will get busy with it. To give you another example, when I did GMCS, some 20 of us became real close on day 1 and we formed a WhatsApp group. And the group got really active. Somebody sharing some memes, trolling each other, some pop culture war would be going. You know how WhatsApp groups work, right? For the entire GMCS period, there used to be at least 1,000 chat messages shared in that group every day. After the GMCS batch was over, there was zero traffic. The 20 of us met like 3 times post GMCS. And then some of them got married, some of them cleared CA, got jobs in other cities and moved. And today I am in touch with only 2 of all the friends I made in my GMCS batch. While it was fun all those 15 days, I can say that I could have participated a lot less in all those so-called fun activities. I could have saved a lot more time. Every outing, every get-together, some 5-minute phone calls here, some 10-minute chat sessions there, they all add up. I can say for sure that prioritizing people over my career has put me behind by at least 3 years in life. So now, you take an inventory of how many people are there in your social circle right now. Just browse through your phone contacts, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. Against every person, just ask that, in 5 years, will this person be in my life? Would they occupy the same significance that they are having right now? I can say 99% of them are not going to be in your life in the next 5 years. Then check that to how many people in that 99% are you extending yourself right now without prioritizing your studies? How many unnecessary quote unquote engagements are you attending? I'm not saying don't participate in events or meet with friends. Networking is good, especially if you are planning to do practice. But know where to draw the line. Now, before we move on, the friends' engagement to whom I went all the way, right? The irony is that we are not even in touch right now. It's been more than 6 years since I spoke with him. We don't have, we didn't have any rift or anything. He just got busy with his life, and I got busy with mine, and neither of us finds the pressing need to start a conversation. That's just how it is with most of the connections we make. So, the lesson number one is your friends don't matter to you as much as you think. Alright, let's get into the next thing. I grew up in a town called Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu and did my schooling there. All through my schooling, I did not have to study hard at all. Even with a mediocre effort, I could easily score more than 80%, and getting into the top 3 ranks was so easy. In my class 12, I came as the school topper, scoring just 89%. So you imagine the level of competition I had. In the schools I studied, you were always praised for the rank instead of the actual score you got. Your image in the school was set if you made sure you got into top 3 ranks, even if your scores were a lot lesser than your ability. There started the problem. I came to Chennai to do CA with the same attitude. And I thought that I can clear CA with the same level of effort that I put in my schooling. My thought process was that I have a decent IQ, it worked for me all through my schooling, it would work for me in CA as well. I cannot be more wrong. My intelligence helped me till getting 40% in every CA result, but I couldn't get past that 50%. Guys with far less intelligence than me were clearing CA ahead of me. I needed something else to clear CA exams, and that something else was work ethic. During the period from 2011 to 2012, I stayed in a hostel in Chennai. It was filled with guys from Odisha, guys from interior rural Odisha. They did their schooling and BCom in Odia medium, and they could not speak one sentence of English fluently. It would take them more than 6 to 7 minutes to read and understand a single provision. But they all cleared CA ahead of me. And that is because those guys would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they would study all the way till 7 to 8 in the evening. Some guys would wake up at 10 or 11 am and study all the way till 3 am, 4 am the next day. They hardly took like 1.5 hours to 2 hours gap in a whole day. They wore shabby clothes, they used button phones. Most of them were almost broke. But they all clocked at least 10 hours a day of solid effort. This was not just for 1 or 2 days, this routine they did week after week after week. That was real monk mode. That was real work ethic. Then it dawned on me, it's going to take this much effort to clear CA. And that finally changed my perspective. I came to terms with the fact that no matter how intelligent I could be, it's work ethic that's ultimately going to save me. I'm sure if I hadn't changed my attitude, I wouldn't have cleared my CA till now. The point is that if you are naturally intelligent and if you think you can effortlessly clear CA, then you might be in trouble. Your intelligence would become a liability to you more than an asset if you don't keep your ego in check. That's why I always say in CA, half-hearted effort is as good as no effort. Either give your 100% or don't bother doing CA at all. So the lesson number 2 is in CA, a person of 100 IQ points with 100% work ethic would beat a person of 200 IQ points with 50% work ethic. Your IQ is worth nothing. Alright, let's move on. I got a terrible jaundice just 1 month before my CA exams in November 2010. I lost 3 precious weeks of preparation time just before the exam. It was the worst level of jaundice and I was bedridden. I had no appetite. My head was aching all the time and I couldn't think properly. It's traumatic to think about this even 13 years later. I had planned a lot to revise during those 3 weeks and I couldn't execute much of them, and of course I didn't clear that exam. It appeared so unfair, I felt like complaining about it endlessly. But then I remembered that 2 months prior to my getting jaundice, I was posted in an outstation audit in Pune. It was a generous client who reimbursed the food bills per actuals. So what do? You were just 20 years old and you had a client who reimbursed food bills per actuals. you eat generously, right? I ate all the time in fancy restaurants. I did not exercise portion control, and I didn't drink enough water or take steps to cool down my system periodically, and the body couldn't handle it anymore and it gave in eventually. Ever since then, I made a rule of strict portion control and not eating processed foods at least 3 months before the exams till the entire exam period. Now, let us look at your life. What are the seemingly unfortunate things that happened to you lately? Did you get late to the exam hall? Instead of blaming the traffic, you could have considered starting 30 minutes earlier. Or at least you could have checked the GPS for the fastest route just before heading out of your house. Or even better, you could have made a trial visit to the exam center after receiving the exam hall ticket. Do you have an overthinking mind? Start meditating. Start journaling. Did you misplace an important document? Declutter your house. Get rid of stuff. The new stock you bought tanked? Well, the next time, instead of blindly falling for the media hype, you do the fundamental analysis and then open your wallet. For almost 95% of the things in life, if we sit back and look at them with an unbiased perspective, we could trace the root cause of the problems all the way back to us. We could have made a different choice, we could have taken more ownership. So, the lesson number 3 is 95% of the things that went wrong could have been avoided. Just don't blame or complain. Okay, we can avoid 95% of the problems, but what about the other 5? See, no matter how much prepared you are, sometimes things just go wrong. What do we do then? Okay, you went at 35 kilometers per hour. The guy from the other end kept talking over the phone and ran into your bike. There was absolutely no fault on your part. But you ended up fracturing your leg while the other guy did not get a single scratch. I know it's super frustrating. It's just your bad time. You happen to be at the wrong part of the road at the wrong time. Okay, similarly, you reached the airport on time, but your flight got delayed by 6 hours due to bad weather conditions. If these things happen, simply acknowledge the unfavorable events, accept them, and move on. I know it's so easy to say this and it's so hard when it happens to us in real life. But what other option do we have other than accepting and moving on? If you really want to see this virtue in action, I would suggest you watch a video clip of how Sachin Tendulkar remained calm after getting hit by a beamer from Brett Lee. It was a nasty full toss from Brett Lee at 144 kilometers per hour and it hit Tendulkar's left shoulder where he was having no padding to cushion the impact. Sachin would quietly walk a couple of paces after the hit. By the time Brett Lee would walk all the way up to him to apologize, and then they just give each other fist bump and move on in a super sportsmanship way. I hope you found value in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and I would be happy to make more such videos. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you and prepare well. Bye bye.